Welcome to Come Alive for your daily word. Genesis chapter number 1, verse number 11 says, Then God said, Let the land sprout with vegetation, every sort of seed-bearing plant, and trees that grow seed-bearing fruit. The seed will then produce the kinds of plants and trees from which they came, and God saw that it was good. Friends, yesterday we started talking about the planting. We talked about the potential and the power of the seed. You see, it is God who did put every potential in a seed. And this is what normally happened. This is the way God wanted it to happen, because God is no longer creating new plants. He already did it once and for all. But he did put the power and the potential of the creative power and potential within the seed, so that the seeds, when they fall to the ground, they can grow and can multiply and can increase. And the whole world is full of different kinds of plantations, seeds, vegetations, trees with seed within themselves. Friends, I want to let you know that there is many things we can learn from nature itself. Lessons about life. And yesterday when we talked about the power and the potential of the seed, but until that seed is planted, it will never realize its power and its potential. I want you to understand one thing, friend, that if you look at the scriptures, the other part of that Genesis, that God created the seasons. You know, he created the seasons we have today. Why? One of the reasons the seasons are there is so that they can create a good cycle where there are times of planting and there is times of harvest and there are times of tilling the ground, making sure that the plants are okay, and the time of harvest, so that you can be able to go to the next cycle and the next season. You see, when God, after God rescued Noah from the ark, and Noah made a covenant with God. God says, and God gives a covenant to Noah, and he says, as long as seed time and harvest remain, so shall the earth remain itself. And let me tell you this, it is God's way of showing us that we can be able to continue growing and increasing, multiplying, because it's within ourselves. But I want to talk today about seasons. You see, for this seed to be able to come to a level of it's going to bring harvest, before this seed is able to bring a harvest, and from the time it's planted on the ground, there are many seasons that these seeds are going to be subjected to. There is a season where it is planted on the ground and it awaits the rains, and when the rains touch, then the seed itself must rot. It must die. Remember, Jesus says, not unless the kernel of a seed dies, it remains by itself. You see, the process of this seed to be able to germinate and to sprout out, something must die. The kernel of this seed must die. And let me tell you this, death in the eyes of God, it is not about destruction. And that's what I said, you can have two attitudes. You can look at your plant, you've been planted as you've been buried to die and to rot away, or you can look at yourself as a plant, as being planted. But the same effect happens. Jesus says, not unless the kernel of that seed dies, it remains by itself and cannot be able to produce anything. So there is a first season that the seed remains on the ground by itself, where it goes through the decomposing, where it goes and dies, and almost hope is gone. Maybe I'm talking to someone and you're listening to me today, and you feel like where life is and where life has taken you today, you may feel like you're died. You may feel like there is no more hope. You may feel like you're losing everything. Let me tell you the truth. It is in that season and in that moment that the seed feels that all hope is gone. Death is upon itself. That something from within itself starts to come alive and starts to germinate, and a shoot, or it starts with the roots. Something starts going down to dig in and to bring in nutrients. Let me tell you this. The soil of your planting, that place that is dark, that place that looks like it's full of confusion, that place that is threatening that is threatening to kill you, that is the place that God has planted you. That's the place where your next nourishment is. That's the place where all you need so that you can sprout out and become something else, that everything is buried in that place. And until you're buried in that place, you can never come into contact with what you need for your next season in life. So give thanks today for that difficult season you are in. If you're feeling like you don't understand what life is all about, you may feel like you're looking around, you seem like you have no hope. It is when you come to the end of the rope, it is when the seed now, it has rotted, the kernel has disintegrated, that suddenly the shoots towards the root and the tap root, and then the shoot that goes up starts to come out. And that brings itself a sense of hope, and gets to a life where you start feeling like something is coming up. And maybe that's where you are. You've gone through a season of darkness, but suddenly you have a level of hope that is coming in you. You feel like you live again. You feel like the end is not yet here. That is what is happening. You are sprouting. The germination is happening. The germination is happening. Friends, let me tell you this. I want to encourage you to give thanks to the season that you are in, the season of the planting. It is good to be planted, because if you're not planted, you'll never know the potential. But the place of planting is not a good place. It is dark, it's full of dirt, it is not a comfort place. You can never plant a seed in comfort. It must be destroyed for it to be able to bring out something else. Celebrate what God is doing in your life today, because the future is bright. Thank you. This is your hope. Pastor Joshua, see you tomorrow. God bless you.